I get shit done, I have fun, it's my time and I'm the one, I'm breaking through.
Welcome to another episode of the Business Renovator. I'm your host, Coach Phil. Today, it's She Sees the Gaps, Challenges the Norm, and Gets Stuff Done. Well, similar to my intro, only less harsh. But before I bring my esteemed guest in, if you're watching us live here today, appreciate that. And if you're watching us on a replay, remember hashtag replay. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have a question live or after, send it our way, and if we can answer it, we will do our darndest to get it done. Remember to like, share, and comment on what you're seeing in today's show, and feedback's how everybody gets better, right? In the meantime, I have a shameless plug, and the advantage of the day is my guest is also a focal point coach. So if you like her, you could do the same thing I'm going to offer you here. So hang on while I go get that video and launch it. Can you imagine 30 minutes with a coach with no credit card required? It's complimentary. Also, it's complimentary is you can do the business growth score if you go to the coachphil.ca site, in my case, and we're going to share my guest's content near the end of the show. You can go to her site if you prefer and get your score done there. And if you do this assessment, you might find that you're right on point, nothing to do. You've got it nailed. Pat yourself on the back. However, you might be like somebody else who's gone through the assessment and realized that there's room for improvement, and they were open to it, and they took the 30-minute coaching call. Again, no credit card. It's free. 30 minutes with a coach, a business coach. Can't be bad, right? No, it's not. It's actually really good. In the meantime, let's get this show on the road. She sees the gaps, challenges the norm, and gets stuff done. My guest is going to come on and share some of her journey along the way. So today on the Business Renovator, we welcome the unstoppable Pam Hargis, a force of nature in the world of business and executive coaching with 7 years of trailblazing impact across North Florida and Georgia. Pam's my rented lips today. Strategist leaders calls when they want fast, focused, and fearless results. From turbocharging small businesses to helping municipalities and nonprofits execute flawless strategic plans, Pam brings the signature mix of brass-tacks clarity, creative disruption, and get it done grit to every table she sits at. Her secret sauce? Spot the gap, rethink the box, challenge a team, and then let's be real and get stuff done. Without any further ado, let's bring Pam up before I mess up some more words. Hey, we're human, right? We're not perfect, but we strive for excellence. Welcome, Pam. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Phil.
It's not the end of the month, right?
No, not yet.
Well, usually what happens at the end of the month, the lease runs out on my lips, and I was thinking that's what was happening today. Anyway, happens. So you're in Florida?
Yes.
It's kind of warm. You had snow this year or last year?
We did have snow up in the Panhandle this year. We actually ended up in some areas with 8 inches of snow, which was a record. So, yeah, it happens. It's Florida. I
It's the
remember in
world.
1977, I got to experience my first snowfall.
Hmm.
So I'm dating myself now.
Yeah, I experience snow every year. That's crazy. That's the weather. So we don't let the weather stop us in what we do, right? Whether it's metaphorical weather or if it's the weather of commerce.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like the postman, you got to keep going.
That's right. Only differently. On your website, I was looking and it said on your homepage, it says uncovering possibilities and unlocking freedom for business leaders. How the heck did you get here to be able to address all that stuff?
Well, it's a good bit fun story. I actually was put here because, well, almost forced to do it. After a 36-year career at Bank of America, where I was leading a lot of their biggest projects out there, they finally said, "Thank you for all you've done. Go retire."
Oh,
And I was like, wow, okay. Number one, I'm too young to retire. Number two, if I don't have something to do, I'm just going to drive my husband crazy. And then that just doesn't make life nice. And so we decided, okay, let's figure out what I'm going to do. So I talked to a lot of people smarter than me. And they said, based on all you've done and your crazy ability to look at things from a different point of view, you need to be a business coach. Well, that was 7 years ago, as you said. And boy, I tell you what, Phil, I have enjoyed every minute of it because you talk about freedom. I have the freedom to enjoy my life and do the things I love to do. What more could you want?
and it reminds me of something a mentor that I was hanging out with for a whole bunch of years on my journey. And he said that if we don't have something to look forward to, we're going to die. Whether we actually really die or if we just get lackadaisical and do nothing, sit around, get fat, get out of shape, that kind of thing. And actually, it's the actuarians in the insurance business statistically have data to support that. Now, I didn't know we were going to go down that path, so I don't actually have the data. But the high level of it is that they plan on people not having something to look forward to, and when they don't, the life expectancy is quite a bit shorter.
That's
So,
not good. And if you don't keep this thing going,
yeah,
but I think it's also more important than that. It's, a lot of people help me through my career and help me do things and excel and so forth. And so the other piece that I said to myself is not only am I going to commit more time to God and my family and friends, but myself as well. But then also I'm going to use this time to pay it forward and help others in their journey and helping them succeed and achieve those goals that they want to go after.
I liked everything you said, and the ending of what you said about you was going to look after yourself. It reminds me of when you're flying, you get the safety speech, which seems route, and we shouldn't pay attention to it, but actually we should pay attention to it because one of the things that sage advice they give us is put your mask on first. So that's what I took out of what you just said. You're going to do all those other things, but you're also going to look after you so that you can look after those other things.
Right.
That's what I got out of what you said.
Yeah, because so many times we all give everything we have to everyone else, and then we wonder why we get sick or we wonder why we're drained or can't go on. Well, that's why.
Yeah, my intro song came out of a lyric. I hired a fellow who does this stuff on purpose. He's a songwriter and musician. And I'm just going to rant about this a little bit, just not because it's about my thing, but some of the things in here. It's called Why Not Me? I keep my word to myself, show up and make a difference, living in a state of flow. I get shit done and I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one breaking through with everything I know. I'm strong and I keep growing. Take life on and keep going. Make an impact and it's just like play. Wake up and say, why not me? Believe in possibility. Open to the magic every day. I shared that because you have that same kind of energy. You may not say it in those words. And one of the things that the writer said to me, these are basically most of my affirmations at the time, and put to music. And then we turned it a little bit, we took it and edited it and created the intro outro. But one of the things he said, the very first line, I keep my word to myself. That's what you reminded me of. And he says, I don't think I like that. And I says, who's this for, me or you? He goes, oh yeah, right. So keeping our word to ourselves is really important.
Mhm.
And we often keep our words to our clients, our friends, our family better than we do for ourselves. So that's why what you said really resonated with me.
Thank you. But I live it every day. So,
Yeah.
and one of the things too that I take and I transfer that over to the people I work with is, this is your personal life. And what makes you get out of that perfectly good warm bed every day
Hmm.
and trudge through traffic, or in your case, the snow, and make things happen, right? I mean, if you're not doing this for you, for your family, for your higher purpose, why?
Well, we compound that. You said, oh, except for me because of the snow. We have snow and traffic. And I usually avoid the first snow in the winter because everybody's forgot their winter. They're still driving like it's summer, and it's different.
Hmm.
Uh, it's funny, Eric. I haven't seen him for a long time. Hey, Eric, good to see you. But he's saying, "Hey, coach." We're both coaches, so you can take that. Anyway, what? I'm just trying to think. Was there someone you've worked with? You don't have to name anybody. Obviously, we want to keep this confidential. But the experiences that you've had, was there somebody that was your toughest challenge yet when you got to the other side of it and helped them get to, when we were off in the green room, we were talking about what's the aha moments. Do you have a story like that you could share with our audience?
Well, fortunately there's a lot, and so it's really cool. One of the things that's always funny, from an aha moment, is when my clients have that aha moment, right? You see the light bulbs kick on. But what's even funnier, Phil, is when someone says to me that I help them reveal the obvious. They're like, why didn't I think of that? And it's because, when you look at things from the outside in, I'm not living and breathing and drinking it every single day, right? So I'm coming in from a different point of view.
Hmm.
And in fact, one of my clients who's been with me for 5 years now, he says, I cannot believe how after almost every coaching session we have, I leave thinking, why didn't I think of that? Why? What is it that she's got that I'm not able to do this? And it really comes down to that, Phil, of, having someone next to you, your confidant, your trusted, friend, or anybody really, that can look at things and number one, be honest and reveal that information to you. Because I think that's part of it too, that aha piece, right? It's having someone that you feel comfortable and confident enough in that when they say something, and I'm looking in the mirror too, right? When people say that back to me as well, it's being able to go, oh, okay, I get that.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, it's really fun. But so that's one example. Being a little more specific with that, is a client where he drastically wanted to increase his revenues. And I mean drastic. And he'd had his business for 5, 6 years already. And I'd say, okay, let's start looking at what those numbers are. What are you today? Where do you want to be tomorrow? And once we got that A to B going, and he said, well, here's where I want to be, but I don't know how I'll ever get there. I'm like, well, what's the best way to eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But you got to figure out first, where do you start? The nose or the butt? So we started crafting this thing out, and I said to him, I said, do you realize that you could get to your goal by one job of $20,000 more a month? And now I'm not going to say what it is, but his jobs on average are about $35,000 a month. I said, all you have to do is get one job of $20,000 more a month and you will achieve your goal. He's like, no, that's not possible. And I said, and if you go beyond that, if you do 2 or 3, now that's all gravy. So it's that kind of stuff, Bill, that it's really cool.
So
When
the
you're
title of
able
this
to peel
episode,
back that onion and make things come to reality.
yeah, absolutely. I like the onion example, getting to the core of it. Although onions don't really have a core if you cut them, but if you peel back the layers, you get to the center. And the beginning of the title of the episode today is "She Sees the Gaps." That's what business coaches do. We see it from a different point of view. As you were talking about, we're not in it all the time, so we can see. To us, it's so obvious they're in it. They can't see beyond the day-to-day, right? They're head down and butt up, and they're missing the obvious. And when you have new eyes, different questions asked, I'm assuming that's what you do, ask questions, and the answers, they go, oh, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Eric,
one thing that, if you don't mind, that I'd love to share, I've started using this analogy, and boy, does it resonate with a lot of people. You're told not to text and drive, right? Why is that? Well, if you're driving while you're texting, you have your head down. You don't see that your light has turned red, and here comes a semi truck going 70 miles an hour because he's got a green light. You and that semi in the intersection at the exact same time is not a good scene, right?
No.
Well, let's liken that to your business, or even as an executive running a team of people. If you've got your head down and you're texting, you may have seen that you had a green light, and you may still have a green light. But what you're not realizing is that semi truck is about to run their red light. Again, same problem. You and that semi in the intersection at the exact same time, not a good scene. And I have seen businesses and teams totally demolished because the business owner or the executive did not look up, survey that landscape, see what's going on, and take action on it.
Yeah. A friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, is in Florida visiting another mutual friend of ours. And there was a 4-way stop to your thing. And the front of his car he can still drive it, but the front pieces, he's in his trunk. So that's an appropriate story. I love that. Can I borrow that?
You may steal it.
Okay, I'm going to steal it. It's stolen. It's stolen. Yeah, really, that's what coaching is all about, is where are you today and where would you like to get to tomorrow? When we were off camera, I was talking about a client I had 16, 17 years ago and helped her get clarity and believe in herself. I didn't do it. I helped her find a way so she could leverage from her past successes and take her, as a single mom, take her kids to out of the winter where I live, not you live, but and live a life in a tropical place and grow her family and grow her business to the level that it was satisfactory for her. It's the blinding flash of the obvious. Sometimes we just can't see it. And the value of coaching, it's for every dollar that you invest in coaching, if you're with a good coach like yourself, they should get $5 to $7 back easy, and often more. One of our fellow coaches, we're going to hear his story, so I won't steal his thunder, but it went from in 8 years from 4 million to 20 million. That's pretty significant.
I've got one client that went from 87,000 to they're going to break 2 million this year in 2 years.
And that's hardly any time at all.
Yeah.
It's amazing, right? And what without spilling the beans about their business, what were the things that you helped them identify and implement that helped them shift from 87,000 to getting to the 7-figure levels?
Well, one of the big things was role clarity, because there's 2 of them running the business. And so being able to clearly understand what your roles were going to be, and then really establishing that operational function within the organization, because new business, you're starting off with nothing. So how do you get there and get going fast? And so the other piece of it is that being able to communicate with each other. In fact, they're going to actually be featured through Focal Point. And one of the big things that they shared was going through their DISC assessment and learning how they are, but then how they themselves are, but then how is their partner, and then how are the people within their organization, and how's the best way to communicate, and learn that, look, this is their style, and me trying to fight it isn't going to do anything. So let's figure out how to make that work together.
Yeah. So for those that don't know what we just said, their DISC, it's not the thing in your back. It's not the thing you throw. It's an assessment tool. that identifies, and some people say it's personality. I go, boo boo. It's not. It's behavioral styles. It's one of my favorite ways to talk about that. My camera acts up, but it's really about this speed and temperature. So are they fast or slow or somewhere in between? Are they hot or cold, somewhere in between? When you identify the two main factors at the moment that you're communicating with that person, watch their behavior. And it's not to be manipulative, it's to build rapport and get in stride with somebody so that the friction goes away in communications. So what you did was help those two. I don't know if it was this or this, but you made it more like this by helping them understand what they didn't know. They had blinders. They didn't know what they didn't know. Anyway. Oh, look, I'm getting a plug, so I got to put this on here. Sorry, Pam. It's just not always about you. Just kidding. Oh, that's pretty nice. Look at that. You get a plug there.
Yay.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Eric. He said his lower back is sore today. So he's a vice president of a company that makes pizzas.
Oh, wow.
Fresh in the delivery mode. He doesn't make pizzas, but he helps those who do make the pies all across the US and I think even in Canada. They have liner that goes into the box so it doesn't get soggy. It stays fresh as if you're sitting in the restaurant. How'd I do, Eric? Thumbs up? Anyway.
That's cool.
Challenges the norm. That's the other part of your title of today. So what are ways that you've actually been able to do that with clients?
Well, when you challenge the norm, it's where you ask questions that really get them to think and get them to think outside the box. So for example, yesterday, fresh out of the box, I was doing a presentation and one of the business owners came up to me afterwards and said, how on earth can I do what you're saying? Because I need my team. They're not doing what they need to do. I have to do it all. Well, challenging the norm, I said, well, what is your objective when you're doing all of it? He says, well, I'm helping my team do their job. And I'm like, so what is your definition of the word help? And she paused and I said, I want you to go home or back to your office and I want you to really digest that and think about the word help. What is that definition for you and what should it be? So that's an example of challenging the norm, right? Just really the norm is we as people just gravitate towards being able to help people, right? When in reality, we're not helping them. We think we are, but we're not. And so that's just one recent example of how I challenge that norm, if you will.
You reminded me of a client I had early on as well. And he said, I gave him a raise and they're not, it didn't improve the productivity. So he didn't understand what was the driving force and the motivator for him. He thought if you threw enough money into it, then people would just work for money. And money is important, but it's not the driving force. There's a really interesting, I'm going to plug another organization, Daniel Pink. He had an animated YouTube video called Drive, and they did a study on what was the important driving factor for people. And when you understand what that is, which is what DISC helps people understand as well, a bit of that is in there as well. When you understand what it's important to people, and if you lead and coach and nurture that importance, they'll walk over. And like if they feel empowered and feel important and feel appreciated, they don't need more money.
Right.
They'll walk over glass or in coals and bare feet to get to helping you get to your goal. I see you nodding. Mm-hmm. It's true. Right?
Yeah. It is true. And one other challenging of the norm, I had a client. It's funny you said single mother of 3 earlier. Single mother of 3, and she was a traveling nurse, and she was starting a business with her sister that wasn't working out. So I said to her, well, what do you like about being a traveling nurse? So she told me. And then I said, what do you not like about being a traveling nurse? Oh, my Lord, blew up. And I said, that's your business. You're going to turn healthcare staffing on its backside. You're going to come up with a process because you've lived it, you've eaten it, you've done it. Now let's turn that around. Well, I can't divulge the amount of revenue that she was making, but I can tell you she had over 100 nurses. And it's just so cool when you have someone that the kids say to you, "Thank you for making my mommy rich." That's challenging the norm, right? Taking that industry and just blow it up.
And the impact and results that she's had in her own community must be almost unmeasurable.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, imagine having 100 employees. That's huge.
It is huge. And then to keep them together,
Mm-hmm.
working together, right? So that you don't have, or when this happens, you can help them get to this.
Right.
Yeah, cool. What's Eric saying here? I'll pop him up one more time. Oh, he's not a fan of saying out of the box. He started saying out of the mind thinking. Yeah, that's cool. Whatever works for you is the magic pill, right? So similar to the name of the show, Get Stuff Done. I say it differently, but that's okay. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, when people are talking to me about, do they want to have me work with them or help them in whatever it is that they're trying to achieve, I tell them, if you want someone that's got, the puppy dogs and the fluffy stuff and oh, you're good, oh, it's going to be all right, all that, that's not me. I'm a get down to brass tacks. Let's make stuff happen. And the reason why I say stuff is because I'll use the word shit, but a lot of people don't like that word. So I've mixed that word and stuff. And that's how I got Shtuff.
Yeah, I've heard
yeah.
I went, why didn't I think of that? Because I actually use the other word anyway.
But I just tell people, we're going to roll up our sleeves and we're going to move the ball.
Yeah.
Because if you want someone that just is going to kind of treat it like a hobby and just kind of sort of make things happen, not me. Because my success is driven on the success of my clients.
Very cool.
In my DNA, I thrive for that kind of thing.
So we've introduced a little bit about you, but I want to be able to get people to find you digitally. So I'm going to bring up something.
Thank you.
I'm going to do it like this. We're going to go with your LinkedIn page, and we're going to make it easy for people to be able to find you, just like this. I did a little bit of stalking. There's a lot of information on there. Even if you wanted to phone her phone number's on there. If you want to send her an email, you can do that. If you just want to, I can send her a message because we're connected. I'm not sure if you're not connected, if you can do that right away. We get connected, then you can send a message.
Notice I also have the free business assessment on there too.
You do.
That we were talking about earlier.
You have a lot of stuff on here. It's all wonderful stuff.
Thanks.
So you can get the assessment from the LinkedIn site, but you can also, and you can also get it from here, which is where we're going to go next.
Yes.
But I'm going to help you find that to be a lot easier. There we go. That's her URL to her website. And on it, it says uncovering possibilities and unlocking freedom for business leaders. So if you heard something from Pam today that you want to get connected with her and learn some more, just have that 30-minute complimentary coaching session. Matter of fact, here's a hack. You could have two, one with her, one with me.
It's true.
Just have to let us know that the only hook is not really a hook, but if you let us know that you found out about us or about the link from the Business Renovator, that just lets me know.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh,
I just got Eric following me now.
There you go.
Thank you, Eric.
Stuff works. Let's bring you back to full size, and we're getting close to wrapping up here. And what I'd like to ask you is if there was one idea that you would like to impart on the audience that's watching today, like Eric, or 5 years from now, what would you share with them?
One idea. I would say the idea is figure out what it is you truly want, whether it's owning a business, growing your business, owning it, having a team, helping them exceed or excel. But then more importantly, what is it you want? Because as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, what is it that's going to get you out of that perfectly warm bed and get you moving in the day? Because it's personal, it's about us. And a lot of people say, oh, that's being selfish. But quite frankly, it's just the opposite. Because if you can't be your true self, if you can't be the person that you feel comfortable with and it exhibits your values in your core every single day, then you're not going to come across genuine. You're not going to come across a value to anyone else for that matter, whether it's your family, your friends, or the people that you work with on a day-to-day basis. So that's my parting words, is figure out who you are and what drives you and makes you want to move forward.
Well, I know why you're on the show, because I couldn't have said that as eloquently as you did. So thank you for sharing that nugget. It's right on point.
Thanks.
And the part I hate about the show is it has to end. I'm going to wrap this up. But thank you for being on here and sharing a little bit of insights of your life and journey as a business coach, and helping people get out of their own way is one way I describe it. So good on you for helping so many people. And 100 nurses. That's crazy good.
Yeah.
I'll see you in a bit.
You got it. Thank you, Phil.
You're welcome. Well, if you didn't learn anything, you might not have been listening. And if you not sure if you picked up anything, there's a replay on this. You can go to our YouTube channel and catch the replay episode and comment there. Give us our feedback. If you have any questions, if you want to find out more about either one of us, the information's also in the replay. So as I wrap this up for today, I'm going to bring something up that's really dear to my heart. Just have to locate it. Here it comes. The you in there represents you. You are unique in your own self. So the you represents you. So continue acting like your unique, wonderful self. Until next time, I'm Coach Phil, the host of the Business Renovator.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking